Last I checked, the protests in Melbourne had gone for 7 hours and counting, and some of it was ugly. Journalists attacked.
They're very passionate. So I've just been struck in the back of the head by a can. I'm not sure whether you saw that, mate.
You okay, Paul?
That
okay?
really hurt, and I'm going to go back to you, Mike.
Okay, we see.
Yeah, mate.
That's the second time. You okay, Paul?
I've been grabbed around the neck today. I've had urine tipped on me. Now I've had a can of an energy drink thrown on me.
Joining me is Sky News reporter Julia Bradley, who has covered this protest all day. Some menacing circumstances, and joins us from the streets of Melbourne, in fact, straight outside the CFMEU headquarters. Julia Bradley, thank you for your time. Good job today. What's happening now?
Well, things have well and truly calmed down, Andrew, and that is because of the large-scale police operation that took place here outside the CFMEU headquarters in the past 2 hours. What we saw was police, riot police, mounted police, and also your rank-and-file officers swiftly move through the streets of Melbourne's CBD, trying to direct anyone on who seems to be hovering around. We saw even more arrests unfolding during that time. We saw people pinned to the ground. Pepper spray was used. Certainly some very tense scenes, but now the protest has well and truly dispersed.
How many people do you think turned up, and where exactly did they all go?
Well, Andrew, Victoria's Police Commissioner Shane Patton estimates that about between 1,000 and 2,000 people were in attendance at today's demonstration. It began here outside the CFMEU headquarters, similar to what we saw yesterday. It was getting quite violent. There was a lengthy standoff between police and these protesters. These protesters then made their way down to Victoria's Parliament. It was a real show of force from the police. We saw officers standing on the steps of Parliament, then over to Flinders Street Station. They then did another loop back up to the headquarters before making their way to the West Gate Freeway. And these are the extraordinary pictures that we've all been seeing over the past few hours of the traffic being brought to a complete standstill as these protesters took over that busy freeway. Traffic was banked up for about 6 kilometres. It really was an extraordinary thing to witness, Andrew, certainly unprecedented.
Now, we've heard a lot about the violence. Now, I've seen one reporter getting attacked. We saw a little bit of violence yesterday. What violence was there?
Well, Andrew, some of the most wild scenes that I've witnessed today, there was one incident where police were moving into protesters and you could see them all advance, and they quickly gathered around the police cars. They were banging on windows, they were throwing things, they were trying to damage police property. But that is what we've been seeing all day, is projectiles being thrown at police, and in response, of course, all kinds of tactics being used by police. Pepper spray, batons were being used, people were being pushed around. 44 people arrested according to the Chief Commissioner, but we've witnessed a lot more arrests just in the last few hours. That police commissioner, he is holding a formal press conference at about 7:30 to answer journalist questions, but he did release a video statement a short time ago.
We have seen throughout the day variously a journalist attacked numerous times. We've seen 3 police officers injured. That's totally unacceptable. You cannot come in and break the law. We will hold you to account and we will focus on community safety.
Now, we see the protesters promise they'll be back every day. We'll see about that. But where was Daniel Andrews, the Premier, today?
Well, Andrew, he didn't attend today's press conference, which was certainly a curious move, one that has angered many in the construction industry, given that they're really wanting their grievances to be heard, and following, of course, that snap decision last night by the government to shut down the construction industry for the next 2 weeks. He wasn't at the press conference. It was the Treasurer and some of his health officials, but we did see the Premier issue a statement over the past few hours, and that reads: There is no excuse for the terrible behaviour we have seen in our city over the last 2 days. Acts of violence and disruption won't result in one less case of COVID. Now, it remains uncertain whether the Premier will be fronting the media tomorrow. We certainly hope that he will be, so that he'll be able to answer some of these questions. Of course, the big fear as well is that this is going to last even longer than the 2 weeks if the industry and the government isn't able to come up with some sort of agreement when it comes to the mandatory vaccinations.
Well, Julia Bradley, if he holds a press conference tomorrow, I am sure you will be there, and he won't be pleased that you are, because you do tend to hold his feet to the fire. Thank you very much for your time.